You're listening to Profit Without Worry, episode number 135. The rise of social media has created a world where marketers can be whoever they want to be, even if it's all completely fake. On this episode of Profit Without Worry, I'm talking about the state of marketing in 2020 and unpacking exactly how we got here. Hey there, I'm Michelle Evans, and this is the show where coaches, experts, and business owners like us get real about what it takes to create a profitable online business. I can tell you from experience that nonstop hustle plus random acts of marketing do not equal success. So how do we attract a steady flow of clients and sales without all the hustle? This is the Profit Without Worry podcast. Hello, welcome back, and thanks for tuning in. I have a brand new free resource for you. Have you checked it out yet? It's a tell-all article I wrote called The Real Reason Proven Marketing Formulas Have Stopped Working. And in it, I name names. I show proof of how the syndicate shaped the online marketing industry, and I show you why those pesky proven formulas are no longer working. I'm here to tell you it's not you. If you've ever tried one of those and it's not working for you, it is not you. It's the system. It's how it was designed. I'm going to link to this article in today's show notes, which you can find at profitwithoutworry.com/episode-135. Or you can go to profitwithoutworry.com/article and read it right there. It's all there, and from the people who've read it and gotten back to me, I've gotten really great feedback. So do yourself a favor and take a few minutes to read it. All right, let's dive into today's show and talk about the online marketing game in 2020, along with how we got here. Close your eyes. Well, okay, if you're driving, don't do this. If you're not driving, close your eyes for a minute and think about your first social media account. Was it MySpace, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, or maybe another one that isn't even around any longer? Do you even remember? Well, when social media rolled out, it was an absolute game changer. I remember my first few posts, totally lame. As I look back now, when they pop up on memories or when I think back to what I was doing then. But at that time, the thought of connecting with friends virtually and sending out a status update or just a message that people would read was novel and exciting. I mean, before social media, if you wanted to talk with an audience, there were only a few ways to do it, and they were all pretty costly. For example, you could take out a newspaper ad, create a radio or a TV spot. You could rent a venue and host an event. You could host an event on your own property, like if you had an office or something. You could buy or build a really big email list. But before social media, sending a mass email was actually kind of difficult. And it almost required the IT department because you were sort of coding everything. The software was really hard to manage. Deliverability was really hard. Like everything was just clunky and yucky. Or you could pitch yourself as a speaker and speak at other people's events. I personally have done all those things. And I'll tell you, they can get really spendy and very time consuming, and you'd better hope that your message is the right one, or all that time and money will go down in flames. So when social media hit the scene, wow, was it ever a game changer, especially for people like you and I who don't have big corporate-sized budgets to spend on marketing. When social media first hit the scene, I was still in my corporate jobs with ginormous budgets. So I was able to, look at it from both sides of the coin here. Over the years, as technology has rapidly advanced social media, it's become more fun, more entertaining, and honestly, a lot more valuable. We can add more photos, we can add videos, we can, whatever. We can add all sorts of things to our social media. And most of us got hooked on our favorite platforms. I know for myself, I check social media multiple times a day because I don't want to miss out on anything. And as a business owner, I shouldn't really admit that, but it's true. And as business owners, you and I have choices to make about our social media presence. We get to choose where we show up. We get to choose what we share. We get to choose the image we want to portray and have people think about us. And we get to choose how we engage with people. The good and bad of social media, we get to write the story we want people to believe. And that can be a good and that can be a bad. Here's the deal. You and I get to decide, are we going to create a real story? Or are we just going to share the highlights, the fairy tale version that we want people to believe so that they look up to us and buy from us? Take a look at how many online business celebrities are struggling with the global Black Lives Matter movement. On Twitter, I saw a white Instagram influencer staging a Black Lives Matter photo shoot in the middle of a Manhattan protest with a freaking photographer, for goodness sakes. Somebody captured it on video on Twitter and sent it all around. And she wanted to show how with the movement she was in an ankle-length black wrap dress. And her post hashtag up the yin yang to sell her outfit, her makeup, her shoes, all of that. Gross. That's gross. In my opinion, it's absolutely the wrong way to use social media. Or you can look at the Kardashians, who've made a global multi-billion-dollar empire based on making their fans and audience feel not good enough of where they are. So they buy whatever brand they're selling at the moment. If you think it's just relegated to major celebs and Insta models hawking makeup, shoes, and outfits, you're wrong. This same approach to social media is used for everything under the sun. Parenting, marriages, dating, diet and weight loss, travel. Don't even get me started on the picture perfect Pinterest moms. And many of these people have one big goal. Create a story about how amazingly perfect they are so that their audience buys whatever they're selling because they want to be perfect too. In the past week, I've seen a well-known online celebrity. You might have seen this as well. Rachel Hollis announced that the story that she created of a perfect marriage, a perfect life and business isn't in fact the truth. And in fact, they're going to go through a divorce. And I'm sad for her. I don't know her personally, but I'm not here to judge anyone else's marriage. Marriage is hard. Marriage and business is really, really hard. Marriage, business, and kids, man, that's just taking it to a whole nother level. And anyone who's been in a long-term relationship knows just how hard it is to stay connected with each other over the years. The problem, though, is that Rachel's entire business and brand and how she makes money is built around giving people advice about love, marriage, and having it all. And in her Facebook posts, Instagram posts, all that kind of stuff, she talked about the fact that it's been a struggle for at least 3 years. Though when she announced that they were going to get a divorce, she said that they'd been struggling for at least 3 years. And if you go look at the story both of them were sharing on their social media, because her husband works in the business as well, her and her husband painted a picture of a happy couple doing all the right things to make their marriage work in a sexy way. And so, her audience bought into her books. They bought into their workshops. They bought into, the things that Rachel and her husband were selling in their business because they wanted what they were showcasing on social media. They wanted to live up to that standard. They wanted to be as good as Rachel Hollis and her husband. The only thing was, the image was a dressed up version of reality, making people want to buy from her so that they too could have an amazing marriage and life. And look, again, I don't know Rachel personally, and I definitely wish her and her husband no ill will. Marriage, parenting, running a business, it's so much to juggle. And I'll be the first to admit that I do not have it all together myself. We've had marriage problems and parenting problems too. I think anyone who's doing this runs into issues from time to time. But the difference is I'm not monetizing my marriage and my parenting and my approach to life. So now her audience feels lied to. I mean, if you go read the Facebook post that she did, which is public, you can read it, you'll see that a lot of people feel really lied to and misled because their idol has fallen off her pedestal. I tell you this because you and I need to make choices about how we show up, what we monetize, and how we frame our stories. No, we don't need to share all the gory details of our day-to-day lives, but we have a duty to watch out for a big trap that I see all the time happening on social media, and it's this toxic positivity. Let's talk a bit about toxic positivity, because that's what makes so many of us feel not good enough, and like we need to buy a product, a program, or a service from somebody that we're idolizing. So toxic positivity happens when an online business celebrity tries to make everything look picture perfect for the sake of making their audience, making you and I want what they're selling because we don't feel like we're as good as the person that we're idolizing. Listen, I've been guilty of idolizing business influencers myself, so this is not to point fingers at anyone at all. In fact, by idolizing people and having their faults exposed, that's how I was able to finally stop searching for magic fixes and, permission to be good enough or permission to follow somebody who I perceive as being good enough to fix my business problems. I realized that no business is built without some work involved. And anyone that tries to paint a rosy, it's as easy as buying my $3,000 step-by-step program is not giving you the full picture. And that's not just for building a business. That's for parenting. That's for dieting. That's for marriage. That's for really anything that we do. There's nothing that's a step-by-step. There's always some give and take and some, not so fun aspects of it. And the grass is not greener. The program is not magic, and no one is perfect. Once you and I realize how we are, or that we are with our strengths and our flaws and our messiness, once we realize that all that is what people value instead of a Martha Stewart-like picture-perfect type of business, the better off we'll be. So instead of trying to be this picture-perfect, magazine-perfect kind of people, we just need to be ourselves. We need to show up with our strengths, show up with a heart for service, just show up and do our best, even if it is messy. It'll be okay. And here's my question for you as we wrap this up. Are you brave enough to be messy and real? Are you brave enough to do the work to build a business based on truth versus trying to paint this picture perfect, fantasy land? And becoming, somebody who paints the rosiest picture around and leaves out those pesky details, because that, I can only imagine, could lead to a lot of stress of hoping nobody finds out what's going on behind the scenes. And I hope for you the answer is yes, because your long-term business growth really depends on you being real, not a fake version that nobody can live up to. So there you have it. I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever seen someone portray a picture-perfect image online, only to discover that things aren't quite so rosy underneath? If so, please share. We need more people telling the truth, because there are way too many people who believe they're not good enough after buying into those types of lies. Hit me up on social media or email me, michelle@michelleLevans.com. And as you were listening to this, did you think of someone who could use these insights about creating profit without worry in their business? If you can think of somebody who could use this, would you do both of us a big favor and share this episode with them? It's super easy to do from whatever podcasting app you're listening on, or just share the URL for today's show at profitwithoutworry.com/episode-135, and your friend can listen right there. And don't forget to go read the article, The Real Reason Proven Marketing Formulas Have Stopped Working. You can get that at today's show notes or profitwithoutworry.com/article so that you can see what it takes to create a movement with your marketing. All right, have an amazing week, and I'll see you back here next week, same time, same place, on another great episode of Profit Without Worry. See you then.